Hey guys, I just wanted to give y'all a few quick rules and tips for when you're working in your in Photoshop for some different things that you may or may not be doing. Um, so these are just like a few things that I would recommend to everybody that going started. So what these are is start with always know your image size. What I mean by that is that you always want to kind of have an idea of what you're working with, at least your proportions. If you're going to be working with something in, like you're creating something for Photoshop or for Facebook, then you're going to have something that's a lot smaller than if you're putting something together that's going to be printed somewhere. Whenever you go and create a new document, you're going to have recent items that you've done here, and you also have some options of what you can change across the top. Just remember your print documents are always going to be a 300 DPI resolution. That means it's going to have 300 pixels per inch. It's going to be a lot more dense, so it's a lot clearer, but that also means that the document size is going to be a lot bigger. So you're talking about several megs whenever you save something here, whereas if you save something for web, you'll see that it changes the resolution to 72 pixels per square inch, and that just means there's obviously less pixel density. Image size will be quite a bit smaller. So, or the document size will be quite a bit smaller. So just kind of have an idea there. Um, just always remember bigger is better if you don't know what you're doing. So I would start with a higher resolution and you can always go smaller. If you start small and want to go big, then your images are going to be distorted and not look near as pretty or crisp. Um, the other thing I have here is to always work with smart images. Uh, what that means is, so if we were to go in here, have a new document, and we'll just go to images and we'll look for a picture of a dog. So if I were to put this dog here and I did a free transform, just Command T, Control T on Windows, and I were to shrink that dog down, put him here, put some other stuff around it, and then I decided, oh no, I really wanted that dog to be this size. When you go to blow it back up, you're going to lose some resolution in here because the image actually it compressed all those pixels down into something new. So it always kind of messes things up. You can see it a little bit more there. It's getting more and more fuzzy. However, if I put this dog in here, right click, and I convert it to a smart object, what that has done is it's remembering all of the pixel information that is in there to uh, keep it protected. So if I were to make it teeny tiny, even this small, and leave it there, then I made it really big again, it's not going to lose any of its resolution. So you can see there the difference in those two. So I always like whenever I put a new image, a new layer, I like to work with smart images to protect myself from having an issue like that where I have to go back and start all over. You can also double click on these smart images and it opens up a new file called a PSB file where you can come in here and edit it. And so let's just say, I'm gonna give him some red hair. And if I save that, close it, come back here, that's changed there. And then I can come back here and click this again and edit. If I'd done that in layers, I could go back here and turn it off. I can't undo from here after you've saved it, but if I had done a new layer, this is probably a better example. So if I did this, closed it, and then come back here, then whenever I open that smart image, that layer is there again. Oh, I didn't want my red box. So then I can save it again, come back over here. This keeps you from having a lot of different things and layers. You can work with some small grouped images and things like that to make it easier on you. My next rule that I always use is never, ever, ever use the eraser. So we'll just use this dog again. If we have to use it on a rasterized image. So if we're looking at this dog and I wanted to say cut him out by himself, and I came over here and I selected my eraser tool. I don't even know where it is because I never use it. There it is. So if I use my eraser tool, you can use your bracket keys next to the P to make your brushes bigger and smaller. So if I use my eraser tool and I come over here, I'll erase it. and then accidentally, oh no, I clicked his nose, I'd be out of luck because there's nothing I can do about it. I can always hit Command or Control Z and go back and fix things. But what I recommend doing is always click on your layer that you want over here on the bottom right. You can click this little thing that looks like a box with a circle in the middle. It's a layer mask. So you can see it has a little white box on top of it. Now I can take my paintbrush, and if I paint with black anywhere on here, so if I want to cut him out, and I'm coming through here and I'm painting on my layer mask with black, and so I'm just kind of doing this, and I mess up. I do his nose. I can switch my color, my foreground color, to white, and I can go back in here and fix little areas where maybe I got too close or something like that. And so I can always disable my layer mask and look at the whole thing, enable it, and I've never lost any of my image data. So that saves you a lot of trouble. You can always just get rid of this layer mask if you want. You can put it on the trash can. You can turn it off, turn it back on. You can do some different things. So layer masks are, took me about 4 years before I learned about layer masks and smart objects, how to use those properly, and it does a lot. Last rule is to save. Whenever you set up your document, just go ahead and save it to wherever your document's going to be saved, and then just hit your Control S, Command S, whatever. If you don't know if you're a Mac or on Windows, and that'll keep you saved. Photoshop's way better than it used to be. It used to crash all the time, and we would lose images all the time. But if you're doing anything, there's nothing worse than being almost done and realizing you haven't saved and Photoshop crashes. So save, just hit your save while you're working on there. As far as tips go, two places I like to look at inspiration. Behance.net. There's all kinds of, they do the best of. There's curated galleries, different things like that where you can go in and look for inspiration of things that people are doing with Photoshop and different Illustrator and things like that. Another place you can go look is a place called Dribble, I think it's .org. Yeah. And so here you can follow, it's a social media platform for designers. You can follow designers. If you find someone that you like, you can create an account. You can find someone that has a style or something that you're interested in, and you can follow them, so whenever something is added to their profile, you'll see that. Or you can just come through here and look for inspiration. There is, you can look at popular, these shots that they do, or like competitions where they have, you can do most viewed, most content, blah, blah, blah. You could come in here and you can go look for everything that matches these color schemes by clicking on this, and some different things like that. It's really neat, good place for inspiration, and that's a good place to get started. If you're looking for free fonts to install, you can go to fontsquirrel.com or dafont.com. Those are two great places for free fonts. As long as you're not doing any commercial work, you don't have any issues, you can do that. Whether going on fonts, just remember not to overdo the number of fonts on images. Try not to go over 2 to 3 fonts. When you get to too many, it starts driving people's eyes crazy. We all think it looks cool, but really you want to go something pretty simple and clean, and you don't want to get it too much going on. And then the last is to watch YouTube tutorials. That's usually where you could set that up on one screen and sit there and just follow along with what someone's doing. And it's a really good way to learn. That's the way I've taught myself how to do everything on here, and that's the main thing that I did. So it's that's a basic the rules and tips of what I say to always use to make sure you don't get lost or have as few problems as possible to help you get going.